There are two sides to the profit equation: revenue and expenses. We tend to chalk revenue up to hard work and great marketing, but expenses are far more interesting because they seem to be influenced by the mindset and temperament of an individual. For example, there's a psychological phenomenon where it takes a lot of energy and self-negotiation to convince yourself to spend money. But once you make that decision, your next purchase won't take as much energy, and it's a domino effect after that. That's how massive shopping sprees happen. Of course, there are necessary expenses in each business, but there are also unnecessary expenses too. We work with some businesses that in 1 month bring in $10,000 in revenue and then spend $10,000 on expenses. On the other hand, we have some businesses that bring in $100,000 per month and only spend $10,000 on expenses monthly. And these aren't wildly different businesses. Their business owners just have very different personalities. What one owner thinks is an unnecessary expense, the other thinks is vital. One business owner might ignore us if we say they have to cut their spending by $500, while another might hound us to find ways they are squandering money, even though they're not spending much at all. There's a famous quote that goes something like, "Wealth is not how much money you earn, it's how little you spend." If your expenses go up every time your income goes up, you aren't gaining any traction in building wealth. This topic of spending is a little tricky for a couple of reasons. First, people judge other people for the way they spend money, but it's better to keep this a judgment-free zone. A friend of mine often expresses surprise when she hears how much other friends are spending. The issue for her is how they're spending their money, as it doesn't align with her value system. You see, she doesn't spend money on a lot of things that other people take for granted. For example, she never pays someone to cut her hair. She always does it herself. She doesn't get her nails done or have any cosmetic treatments. She rarely goes shopping for clothes. She chooses not to eat out much because she enjoys cooking and the nearest restaurant is too far away. And she never buys new cars because she considers them to be horrible investments. She buys used cars and keeps them until they stop working. Does this mean that she's a financially responsible person? Absolutely not. These are just things that she personally doesn't value. On the flip side, she spends about $500 a month on charitable contributions and gifts for her loved ones. Her purchases align with what's important to her, and really, that's all that should matter. The point is, as we talk through spending, it's fine to question whether we personally are making the best choices, but we shouldn't judge ourselves or others for how or on what we spend our money. Another reason spending is often a tricky subject is that as a business owner, the line between personal and business spending is often blurred. When a colleague of mine first started her career, she did a lot of tax returns for people who were W-2 employees. They would constantly ask how they could get their taxes down, and her reply was to start a business. Why? The main reason is it gives people the opportunity to deduct things that they already spend money on. As a business owner, you can deduct your cell phone, internet, home office, possibly your auto expense, and so on. Another recommendation was to have a rental property somewhere you travel often. Her first rental property was near where her family lived. She deducted her flights and travel expenses as business expenses, as she always checked in on the rental when visiting her family and would usually take the property manager out to dinner. So really, it was a business trip. But when personal expenses get mixed in with business expenses, there's a danger that we might spend in ways we normally wouldn't. We'll explore that further in the next lesson.